Okay, and then one more quick video about what we should expect. There's people who think that we will just be raptured in the blink of an eye, and that's fine. But I think being emergency prepared is a good thing to do. It's just wise. So you should understand what other people are saying. When I look at the defining scripture for the rapture, it's 1 Thessalonians 4, I think 16 and 17. There's 4 elements in that event. It's Jesus, it's clouds, it's an archangel, and a trumpet. And then when I go to the Gospels, 3 of them, meaning Matthew 24, 30 and 31, Luke 21, I think it's 27, and then Mark 13 something. We also see those same events. The Son of Man coming in the clouds. We see angels, we see a trumpet in Matthew, and we see people being gathered. It's the same events or same elements, same sub-events, whatever you want to call it, in the rapture as in what people are calling this the second advent. So to me, the simple answer is there's no second advent. This is all the same thing. Unless other evidence comes around that says, no, these are 2 totally different events that have the exact same thing happening in them. Jesus appears in the cloud twice. There's angels twice. There's a trumpet being blown twice. And then everyone is gathered together to meet the Lord in the air twice. So if you want to believe that, that's fine. But my hermeneutics are, you believe the simple answer first unless other evidence comes around. So that's why I am a mid-tribulation rapturist. But there's many people who are mid-tribulation rapturists who then say, well, then the rapture happens after Great Tribulation, and Great Tribulation is equal to Seal 1 to Bowl 7. And that is another incorrect thing as far as I'm concerned. Great Tribulation is not from Seal 1 to Bowl 7. For one thing, read Matthew 24, Luke 17, and Luke 21, and Mark 13, and you'll see the first 3 horsemen are in there already. It's general tribulation. Nation will rise against nation. There will be wars and rumors of wars, but the end has not come yet. That means throughout history, you're going to see all these terrible things happening, but the end will not come just because those terrible things happen. That's talking about general tribulation. And everybody agrees there's general tribulation. And that is the first 3 horsemen. The 4th horseman is ISIS, probably for another conversation, or just go look at a previous video. Which leaves the 5th seal, which is all the people saying, when will you avenge us? And they are all in heaven. And that seal takes place in heaven. So we're never going to see the 5th seal being opened. That means that the next seal we're looking for is seal 6. And that fits right along with all the description that precedes the description of the rapture in the Gospels. Sun turning black, moon turning red, the stars falling. And you find that in Revelation, that's seal 6. And right after seal 6, then all the great men and the mighty men say, fall on us, rocks, because the wrath of the Lamb is here. And they can see Jesus. They know it's him. There he is in the sky. So it's all a tight, neat little package where you don't have to have 2 of everything. This is why I'm a mid-tribulation rapturist. But the interesting thing is that Matthew, Mark, and Luke all talk about the same thing, but they talk about different elements of it. And we don't look at Luke, and we don't compare, like, say, Luke to John, which are totally different books, but they're talking about the same thing. We don't compare those 2 and say, there's 2 Jesuses. So nor should we look at the same events from 1 Thessalonians 4, 16 and 17 and compare those to the Gospels and see that they're the same and then say those are 2 different events. They are the same events. But there's one key phrase in Luke 21:20, or 2021, that says, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know the desolation thereof is nigh. And that's a parallel scripture to Matthew 24, where it says, for then will be great tribulation. This will be a time like none other. It's also a parallel scripture to Daniel 12:1. So Daniel 12:1, the one that's in Matthew 24, and then not really parallel, but right before that is Luke 20:21 or 21:20. So this is painting a picture of the time of great tribulation starts with armies surrounding the city of Jerusalem. It ends with everybody in Jerusalem dead, taken captive, or running for their lives. How long does that take? 3.5 years? We're not talking about an army that's trying to negotiate with the Jews. We're talking about a bloodthirsty band of beastly men. This is Islam. It's the fourth horseman, and they are beastly men. They say our acts are pure, but they are not. That is a deception. They come in the name of God, but they are not of God. And God ends up killing all those guys, which I also pray for, because there's a lot of just, 17-year-old Palestinian kids who don't know their left hand from their right. But all those guys are going to get killed. All the Jews are going to get killed inside Jerusalem, or they'll be taken captive, sold into slavery, or they will flee through the Mount of Olives. When does the rapture take place? Among all that chaos, I don't know. Well, it's after the tribulation of those days, the great tribulation, which is measured in days. So we're not just going to get raptured all of a sudden. We're going to see Jerusalem compassed with armies. Then the desolation set up, which is probably the Antichrist or the man of sin, soon to become the Antichrist. I don't know for sure. But it wouldn't surprise me, and it would not surprise me if Obama was standing in the Temple Mount somewhere, saying, "I am God," or "I am Jesus," or "I'll be your God," or something like that. It doesn't say that he says he's God; it says he shows himself he's God. So maybe this all takes place in secret. I don't know. But the one thing that cannot be taking place in secret is Jerusalem compassed with armies. Some people say that happened in 70 AD already. It did happen in 70 AD. Maybe it won't happen again. Maybe that's fulfilled completely in 70 AD. But wait. It says a time of distress like none other in history, nor ever will be. So up until 70 AD, I would say, sure, that happened in 70 AD. But then when the Holocaust came around of World War II, that greatly overshadowed 70 AD. As far as I'm concerned. More Jews died then than in 70 AD. So I would say this has yet to happen again. And when it happens, we'll see that. Jerusalem, compassed with armies. Great tribulation for a number of days. Followed by the signs of the Son of Man. A great shaking in the heavens, the sun turning black, the moon turning red, the stars falling, and the reverberations of that shaking of the heavens cascading across the earth, moving every mountain and island off of its foundation. And then Jesus appears in the clouds, and the dead are raised at that point, and then we who are alive and remain are transformed and go with them to meet the Lord in the air. And then for us, it's over. We will always be with Jesus. And it's just the beginning, sure, because he's going to go to the earth to reign for 1,000 years. And since we will always be with him, therefore we will be on the earth with him, likely living in heaven or New Jerusalem. and working on the earth to help rebuild it for 1,000 years. If you don't know Jesus, get Jesus.